afternoon to you. Before we get into the details of what's happening there, tell us about that press briefing that was cancelled earlier. Has there been any word from officials on what's been happening?
Very good afternoon to you, Natasha. Yes, indeed, I can confirm that the press briefing was cancelled. It was supposed to be held by various ANC structures here in Tshwane, including the Youth League and the ANC Women's League and the Veterans League. But then because of safety concerns, they said that they had received threats that the briefing would be disrupted. So they decided to pull out of it just to ensure that everyone involved there is safe. So that is what has happened there. And as you mentioned here, I am with the spokesperson of Metro Tshwane Police, Isaac Mahamba, and he's just right next to me. If you can just tell us, the reports that we're getting right now is that the situation is intensified in Atteridgeville here in Pretoria West. Can you just talk to us about what's the situation in Atteridgeville right now?
You remember earlier on in Atteridgeville we have a looting. Members of the community, they started to loot a complex called Oak Lane. We discourage such act, and remember, we've been saying again since this morning that there is a possibility of criminal act. That's what we discovered now. Nevertheless, we are going to intensify as police just to make sure that all the areas are safe. We like to assure the residents of Tshwane that we are not yet at a state of panic. We are going to make sure that every police officer is being deployed. We just had a meeting now. If it comes to a push from the Metropolis side, we'll deploy Metropolis 24/7, and even those that are out the arrest days, we'll make sure that they come work. Even those, remember the chief of police have the prerogative to cancel the leave for those who are on leave if we feel that we need them. So at this stage, we are saying they should stay calm, the residents of Tshwane. There's no state of panic, although we don't, like what happened in Atteridgeville. We discourage it at all costs, but we are saying we are working on it. We'll make sure that we stabilize that area.
All right. You mentioned that you suspect there are criminal elements to this, but then of course the violence came out after the announcement that Thoko Didiza was the mayoral candidate. So how much of the political climate is playing into this?
That's what we want to establish. Remember, the politics are working on that, and we as police, we are working on the police part. And hence we are saying we establish that there is a possibility of criminal elements. If you saw what happened earlier on in Atteridgeville, people just grab whatever they needed in that particular complex. How do you say that, you link the two incidents of politically and the criminal events? You hear what I'm saying? So we are saying now we want to go to the bottom. We are deploying and make sure that, what happened earlier on, it won't happen again. We'll deploy our officers as much as we can.
Okay, and just very lastly, if you can tell me, have there been any arrests so far? We know this has been happening since Sunday, that there was this noise of violence and it escalated last night. Have there been any arrests at this point in time?
As I mentioned earlier on, yes, there are some few arrests that we made, but we are going to combine the stats of the SAPS and the Metropolis. On the later stage, we will divulge or disclose how many people were arrested since the whole thing happened up until currently.
All right, well, that is the spokesperson of Metropolis in Tshwane just telling us that there is no need to panic yet. The police, the Metro Corps are going to get on top of the situation. But he has mentioned that, Atteridgeville particularly is a matter of concern with issues of looting and some really bad elements of criminality there. But mentioning that they've also arrested a number of people. So giving us a picture that, they are trying to be on top of this as much as they can as the security services here.
All right, Sipho, thank you very much for that update. Sipho Stuurman there in the Pretoria CBD. But to Atteridgeville now, which has also been the scene of chaos. The township has been on lockdown as residents have taken to the streets there to protest. Our reporter Patricia Fasaki joins us now on the line from Atteridgeville. Patricia, good afternoon to you. After the scenes we saw late yesterday and last night, how have protests continued today? What's the latest?
Okay, so we need to go to...
Of course, you would know that we saw, violence flaring in several townships around Pretoria.
All right, we seem to have lost Patricia on the line there. She was giving us an update on what's been happening in Atteridgeville. We do know she was there last night and she is there again today monitoring the situation. So we will try and get her back on the line just after this short break. Stay with us.